Have you ever wondered if the person by your side truly loves you or is just playing mind games? Maybe you've noticed strange behaviors, mixed signals, sweet words followed by cold actions. And in the end, you find yourself doubting your own sanity. Is the problem with you, or is there something deeper going on? The truth can be hard to accept, but it's necessary. You might be trapped in a narcissistic relationship without even realizing it. And this doesn't happen by accident. Narcissists are master manipulators. They know exactly how to destabilize their victims and maintain control. They make you feel guilty, come up with weak excuses, and twist reality until you don't know what to believe anymore. But today, that ends. In this video, you'll learn how to identify the signs of a narcissistic relationship and, more importantly, how to break free from this destructive cycle. It doesn't matter how long you've been in this situation. The right knowledge can give you the way out you've been looking for. And believe me, recognizing these signs could be your first step toward emotional freedom. If this topic resonates with you and could help someone you know, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Here, we talk about biblical wisdom, personal growth, and Christian reflections that truly transform lives. And to strengthen your decision, comment below, "I choose freedom." Let's walk this path of awareness and liberation together. Not all abuse starts with yelling. Sometimes it comes disguised as charm, promises, and a false sense of security. A narcissist knows how to weave an invisible web of emotional control, making their victim doubt their own perceptions. They seduce with excessive compliments, seem to understand every detail of your life, but it all serves one purpose: manipulation. Little by little, you find yourself walking on eggshells, trying to avoid conflict, not realizing that you've already lost your emotional freedom. By the time you finally see the damage, you realize your identity has been eroded, your peace stolen. And the Bible has already warned us, pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. Proverbs 16:18. No arrogance lasts forever, and a relationship built on pride is destined to collapse. A narcissist's arrogance isn't always obvious at first, but it's always there, waiting to surface. They believe they are superior, disregard other people's feelings, and use their partner's weaknesses to boost their own power. The victim tries to explain their pain, to be understood, but in return, they receive indifference or contempt. One moment, the narcissist seems like the perfect partner. The next, they tear everything apart with calculated coldness. This cycle leaves the victim questioning, is it me? Am I the problem? And that's exactly what the narcissist wants. Pride blinds, arrogance destroys, and any relationship driven by selfishness is bound to fail. Breaking free from this game isn't easy, because narcissists have a unique ability to turn their own mistakes into your fault. If you complain, you're too sensitive. If you pull away, they play the victim. But the truth is simple: a relationship based on manipulation and a lack of empathy will never be healthy. The first step to escaping this cycle is recognizing the signs and understanding that there's no justification for this kind of abuse. And when the mask starts to slip, what's behind it can be even worse than you imagined. If a narcissist showed their true colors from the start, no one would fall into their trap. But they are experts in deception. They create a flawless image, presenting themselves as the perfect partner, charming, caring, captivating. They always seem ready to help, always saying the right things. But this mask has a purpose: to seduce, control, and manipulate. And the Bible has already warned us, a hateful person disguises himself with his speech, but he harbors deceit in his heart. When he speaks graciously, don't believe him, for there are 7 detestable things in his heart. Proverbs 26:24-26. Behind the charm and apparent kindness, there are hidden intentions. Over time, cracks begin to show. Small signs appear, moments of coldness, empty words, a lack of true empathy. A narcissist doesn't feel remorse, but they know how to fake it. They manipulate their victims' emotions to keep them trapped in the illusion. When confronted, they deny, shift blame, or turn the tables. If necessary, they switch masks, this time playing the victim. Because to them, it's not about being good, it's about seeming good. Narcissists aren't looking for connection, they're looking for control. But the truth always finds a way to come out. Sooner or later, the person living with a narcissist starts to notice the inconsistencies. Their words don't match their actions. Their empathy seems rehearsed. Their kindness has an expiration date. This game can go on for years, but no one can keep up a lie forever. When the mask finally falls, reality comes crashing in, and we're not always prepared for what we'll see. A narcissist doesn't use visible chains, but their grip is just as strong, through guilt, confusion, and fear. They know their victims' insecurities and use them as weapons. They make the person doubt their own perception, twisting reality until they no longer trust themselves. Small, carefully calculated gestures and words turn minor mistakes into major failures, always placing the blame on the victim. As it is written, but mark this: there will be terrible times in the last days. People will be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, boastful, proud, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, without love, unforgiving, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not lovers of the good, treacherous, rash, conceited, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying its power. Have nothing to do with such people. 2 Timothy 3:1-5. And this manipulation often comes disguised as concern. The narcissist claims to act for the victim's own good, insisting they just want to help, while slowly chipping away at their self-esteem. They cry, play the victim, and twist reality. If the victim tries to stand up for themselves, the narcissist distorts the facts. Look what you made me do. You're overreacting. This is all in your head. The goal is control, making the victim doubt themselves so much that they feel they need the narcissist to see the truth. Recognizing this game is the first step in breaking free. A narcissist fears an awakened victim because a person who sees the truth is a person who can walk away. That's why they escalate their manipulation the moment they sense they're losing control. But once the victim recognizes the pattern, something inside them starts to change. A narcissist loves being the center of attention, but only for the right reasons. The moment they're confronted, their true nature surfaces. They react with anger, contempt, or complete emotional detachment, refusing to take any responsibility. Instantly, they flip the script, shifting all the blame onto the victim, who suddenly finds themselves caught in a whirlwind of distortions and accusations. But this isn't random. It's a calculated defense mechanism to avoid being exposed. After all, as the Bible says, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. John 8:32. Whether by yelling and belittling the other person or playing the victim to divert attention, a narcissist will never admit fault. If pressured, they might give vague answers, make empty promises, or fake remorse, but it's all part of the game. Moments later, they turn the tables. You're being cruel to me. I never treated you badly. Look at what you're doing to me. This attack on the victim's sense of reality has one goal: to destabilize them enough to make them submit again. And this tactic works until the victim finally recognizes the pattern. Once they see that every confrontation leads to the same cycle of denial and manipulation, they begin to understand the narcissist for who they really are. And the truth is liberating. But there's something even more deceptive than rage or denial. When a narcissist realizes they might lose control, they change their approach. When a narcissist senses their grip slipping, they switch tactics. Suddenly, the coldness and contempt disappear, replaced by grand gestures, sweet words, and emotional promises. They might even seem genuinely remorseful, but don't be fooled. It's just another strategy to regain control. True repentance comes with changed behavior, but a narcissist isn't interested in transformation, only in maintaining their power. The Bible teaches us an essential truth about this. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. Philippians 2:3-4. A narcissist, however, fakes humility but remains entirely self-centered. Their apologies are often dramatic, unexpected gifts, public declarations, well-rehearsed tears. But there's a catch. Their apology isn't followed by real change. Soon enough, things go back to the way they were, and the victim, believing progress has been made, finds themselves trapped in the same cycle. It's a never-ending loop. They hurt, promise to change, act better for a while, and then everything starts again. The victim must understand that pretty words don't build healthy relationships. Only consistent, sincere actions do. The easiest way to tell if an apology is real is to observe whether the behavior actually changes. If the same destructive patterns keep repeating, then the apology was nothing more than another tool for manipulation. True love requires humility and transformation, but a narcissist only pretends to have these virtues to maintain control. And when this strategy no longer works, they enter the final phase, the full cycle of emotional manipulation. A narcissist doesn't follow a predictable pattern. They shift between moments of extreme kindness and sudden coldness or cruelty. This psychological game keeps the victim in a constant state of confusion, never knowing which version of the narcissist they'll encounter next. One day, they give compliments. The next, they criticize. Today, they promise to change. Tomorrow, they act as if nothing happened. This emotional instability wears the victim down, making them dependent on the narcissist for validation. What many don't realize is that this dynamic is intentional. The narcissist keeps this emotional roller coaster spinning because they know that a confused person is easier to control. The Bible warns us about this. Cast your cares on the Lord, and He will sustain you. He will never let the righteous be shaken. Psalm 55:22. God gives us strength to see the truth and break free from this cruel game. This cycle follows a clear pattern. First, the narcissist idealizes the victim, making them feel special and irreplaceable. Then they begin to devalue, criticize, and destabilize them. Finally comes the discard phase, where the victim feels completely worthless. But when the narcissist senses they might lose control, they restart the process, returning to their charming, affectionate persona. And just like that, the victim remains trapped. It's like being stuck on an endless emotional roller coaster, always hoping the next ride will be different. Breaking free from this cycle starts with recognizing the pattern and taking practical steps. First, the victim must emotionally detach from the manipulation and seek support from people who can see the situation clearly. Next, they need to rebuild their self-esteem, as a narcissist thrives on the insecurities of others. The path to freedom begins with understanding that this cycle will never end as long as there's room for manipulation. But when the victim decides to break it, they open the door to real transformation. Breaking free from a narcissistic relationship isn't easy, but it's necessary. The first obstacle is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of overreacting, fear of not being able to move forward. The narcissist takes advantage of these doubts to keep their victim trapped, reinforcing the idea that no one else will understand them, that they're imagining things, or that they'll never find someone better. But the truth is, Freedom begins when the victim realizes they deserve more than emotional crumbs. The Bible offers a valuable piece of advice. Do not make friends with a hot-tempered person. Do not associate with one easily angered, or you may learn their ways and get yourself ensnared. Proverbs 22:24-25. Staying close to a toxic person can, over time, cause someone to absorb that same destructive energy. Cutting ties can be painful, but staying in a cycle of manipulation, emotional abuse, and distorted reality is even worse. The first step is recognizing that the relationship is unhealthy and seeking support, whether from trusted friends, support groups, or professional counseling. Many victims feel guilty for walking away, but that guilt is part of the narcissist's control mechanism. The truth is, a relationship should be mutual and healthy, never a one-sided burden of suffering. Breaking free from a toxic relationship isn't just about leaving physically, it's about emotional detachment as well. The narcissist may try to come back with false promises, dramatic gestures, or pleas for another chance, but it's crucial to stay firm and not fall back into the cycle. Building a new reality requires self-awareness, strong boundaries, and the understanding that true love never destroys, never manipulates, and never makes someone doubt their own worth. When a person chooses freedom, they don't just regain their identity, they make space for something genuine and transformative. Now that you know the signs of a narcissist, the question is, what will you do with this knowledge? Understanding the situation isn't enough. It's time to take action. Are you ready to take the most important step in your emotional life? Freedom begins with the decision to no longer tolerate manipulation, emotional games, and distorted reality. If you're in a toxic relationship, the time to change is now. Don't wait. Don't convince yourself that things will magically improve. Everything you need is within reach: self-awareness, determination, and the courage to walk away from what harms you. If you want to keep learning how to spot these warning signs and protect yourself, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We have plenty of valuable content to help you build a healthy emotional life aligned with the truth. And don't forget to engage in the comments, share your experiences, and let's walk this path to freedom together.